Just a quick update on the 17 a.m. German turn, just to see where the results were from battles and movement and mechanized movement, exploitation phase. The battle down here, there's only one battle, and Manteuffel prevented the 28th, 109th from retreating. He was able to cause a step loss, so they didn't have to go anywhere, which is fortunate, because the bridge blowing rolls were all great on this river. They're all blown, so there's not going to be a lot happening down there except kind of holding the line. Although there's going to be problems in the middle because 28-110 got pushed way back in their battle. And there's a big gap here, obviously, that the Americans are going to have to deal with somehow. Again, it seems like shifting units down from the north there. As the reinforcements come in on this turn, it's going to have to happen. There's a counterattack result here, but he's going to have to retreat. There's no way he's going to counterattack. St. Vith was captured. They'll be retreating there anyway. I utilized all these could be flipped. I used all of the artillery I could for defensive fire support. They were in perfect position for that, and in some cases it helped, like disengage, this counterattack here results, there weren't any retreats. But despite that, they're still going to have to pull back because there's going to be trouble down in the middle. And then Piper, there was a pretty good result there. Actually, the Germans rolled lots of 2s this turn, and some of them were -1, so even though there were some low odds 2-to-1 attacks, that caused big issues for the US with some D3s, and I think there was a D4 there too down south. And then the reserve forces were able to actually get over the Wash River, and so once that's breached, we're going to have to hold the line at these hills and that thick forest. No results here. Gonna have to figure out how to get that 99th Division split up so they can get a little bit more coverage by the units up here. If we can move units down and shift gradually down, we can fill some of the holes in the center. It's becoming to look like the actual battle because the main gains are in the center. And Bastogne is 3 hexes away. Unfortunately, it's a little bit ahead of schedule because of the airborne divisions aren't going to be in Bastogne before the Germans get there. So it looks like the push, even though there's a lot of strong units up in the north with the SS units, looks like we'll be able to capture Bastogne, maybe Wilshelm. This river line is probably where right here is where the 82nd 101st Airborne are going to have to block the advance, and they'll be able to hold those, hopefully. So it's going to be interesting to see where the victory hex pushes. I'd imagine that Wilshelm is going Bastogne, that's 2. And possibly the fuel dump if it isn't blown. So we'll see after the Americans' 17 a.m. turn. Okay, this is taking a look at the turn, the end of the turn after U.S. has moved, got some reinforcements in at the end of the 17 a.m. turn. As you can see, working from the bottom to the top, the 4th and the 9th, 4th Infantry, 9th Armored have had to pull back from the river line. Actually did their jobs though in blowing the bridges at least. But they had to pull back because there was no way that they could leave Wilts open because the Germans could come in and have easy access into Bastogne, or in the area of Bastogne. So they had to pull back so they could at least plug in terms of zone of control, cover that front. The one reinforcement over here that came in the southern edge, I don't know, I could have delayed it, I guess, and come in at sea, but for right now it's just there to keep the Germans honest and have, keep a few units pinned down to cover the rear and their flanks. In the center, again, I had to pull down because of the reinforcements coming in from the north. The majority of the reinforcements, Armored Division and 2/3 of the 1st Infantry, and one was released because from Herve, because there was a German unit next to Malmedy, as you can see right there. And there was a counterattack that I had to have right here, and it obviously did not survive because the Germans were able to advance behind the previous on their turn. So they were surrounded and had to retreat and were dead in the water. I still managed to get the artillery into a support position, which was good. It's like this group of artillery can support any of these 3 areas, which will be extremely helpful. And then up top, that artillery unit can support 1, 2, 3, 4 different units depending on where they need it. And then there's another artillery unit just beyond the 10th, 7th Armored that can support also 2 possible battles. I'm sure they're going to, well, I guess they can't get into Stavelot. That's what I was trying to do here, is defend this area before the river, even though he's not in a great defensive position. At least he can hold them off. That's as far as that 1st Infantry could get from Herve after being released. And that prevents them from getting to Stavelot, because I didn't want to just put him in Stavelot, because they could get some units to, I don't know, I just didn't want to leave that a clear path to get too many units right up on that river line. This way that'll delay a little bit, and there will be more reinforcements coming from the north next turn as well. Another Armored Division, I think. The one thing I realize now, that the 82nd and the 101st Airborne coming in from this area, and it's going to take, well, more than 2 turns, just over 2 turns to get into this area here. So as I feared, this river line is going to be the key to try to hold them off from getting any of these victory points. I think Bastogne is going to be, the Americans going to be hard pressed to hold on to Bastogne. But I still managed to get a defensive line all the way through. Again, it's just so feels so brittle until we get that mass of reinforcements in next turn, which really isn't going to affect things until a couple turns down the road. So it's going to be delay till we get a chance to really put up a fight in the key victory point areas. Bastogne's probably going to fall, and Wilshelm, I'm assuming. So that's 2. And right now, the German has not lost a lot of units, so they could fulfill one of those. And so then we have I guess it would be Trois Points would be another victory point. So I don't know, this is probably looking a little dicey for the American player, considering how many turns are left. And I think part of it is the last turn battles, there were a lot of 2s and even a few 1s. There was a 5, I think, that the German rolled, 4, but it was a lot of 2s with some subtractions. So some of the smaller odds battles, 2-1 odds, had pretty good die rolls. So even though they didn't necessarily eliminate units, there are 4 eliminated U.S. units right now, and 1 commander. So, because I think it took a commander as a step loss to save one of the infantry units. So we'll catch it at the 17 p.m. turn and see how that goes. Again, German reinforcements really aren't much of an issue. What you see is what you get, but for right now, what you get is plenty of offense. So live and learn. Thanks, and we'll catch you on the next time.